To me, this is a no-brainer. Like, why aren't we doing this? Donnell, why are we even doing this live? Because I think we're done here. There's a death benefit piece to this, and access to that cash value is needed. If I can take $1,000 a month and put it to work as well, what would this look like inside of your compound interest account? $1,000 a month plus this $140,000 lump sum over a 10-year period, he would have contributed $260,000. If you do this right, you can put your money in a vehicle where it's also liquid and put you in a position to pay off your home as well. Not just the life insurance, but the life insurance plus the cash value that has been accumulated, which equates to somewhere around 1.5. What we're talking about today is a strategy that, as it states, very few talk about because very few understand how to help. Most people are, I'll call it, siloed in what they can or cannot do. Life insurance people focus on life insurance. IRA and 401k people focus on IRAs and 401ks. Banks sell mortgages. So you know what I mean? So there's a lot of different options out there, but no one ever talks about how this can go together, is my point. And so we've got a client, 65 years of age. I'm going to say he lives a modest life. He has about $140,000 sitting in savings. And when I say sitting in savings, I mean that, sitting in savings. When interest rates were starting to rise, what were people doing? They were moving their money out of the market. They were putting it into high yield savings accounts because the interest rates on those high yield savings accounts were starting to skyrocket. So it was a decision that was made for the times that we were in. And a lot of times people were taking qualified money to do this. So the fact that this gentleman has $140,000 sitting in a high yield savings account, not surprising. The problem is that high yield savings account that it's sitting in is no longer receiving that 5 to 6%, quickly dropping, headed towards I think he's somewhere around 2.6 at the moment. So, hey, Donnell, I know you talk a lot about these secure compound interest accounts and you've got these pretty cool strategies. Can this $140,000 go to work for me inside of a SKIA? That's kind of how this started. But his concern is, hey, do I have enough time to be able to turn this $140,000 into something special? And he's looking for a strategy. And that strategy balances both growth and security, which is key. Meaning, at my age of 52, I don't have time for loss. So at age 65, he definitely does not have time for whatever's happening in the stock market to impact his ability to hold on to that $140,000. What is that cost of waiting? We've talked a lot about compound cycles. The true cost of this 65-year-old waiting to get his money compounding equates to, I don't have the exact number on it, but it absolutely equates to millions of dollars lost because this dollar amount wasn't placed in a position earlier. And when I say earlier, I'm talking maybe 10, 15 years earlier to get compounding, but you don't know what you don't know. And so again, no fault of his. So the issue now is cycles are limited. Compound cycles are limited. And what are compound cycles? If he's sitting here at 65 years of age, this is saying in most cases, when you're here, you have very few compound cycles left. So in his case, his plan is to work till 75. And so if he works till 75, we're saying he has at least one more. So he has 2 compound cycles left before he's ready to start taking income. The question is, what can this 140K do? Well, in addition to that, he also has about $1,000 a month in additional cash flow, meaning he has decent cash flow, he has low debt. And so the goal was, hey, if I can take $1,000 a month and put it to work as well, what would this look like inside of a secure compound interest account? We focus heavy on leveraged IULs on this channel. And so he being 65, he being fairly healthy, he immediately went, hey, I want this $140,000, this $1,000 a month to be dumped into a secure compound interest account, a leveraged IUL, and I want to apply that strategy and I want to see what happens. Okay, so what happens? And for those of you who may be wondering why a leveraged IUL in the first place? Well, the cool part about insurance-based products, as noted in the risk return pyramid, here I'll show you real quick. When we talk about vehicles that provide security, we're talking about this bottom layer, and this bottom layer consists of savings, bonds, savings, treasury bills, bonds, and CDs, but also life insurance-based products, meaning life insurance is one of the most secure products you could actually have. So understanding how that life insurance-based product is structured is the piece that allows you to dictate whether or not you can or cannot generate income. And so protection against market risk, wanted a death benefit option. In case something happens to him, he wants to make sure his wife is taken care of. Like, don't we all? And so making sure there's a death benefit piece to this and access to that cash value is needed, if needed. He wants liquidity. This goes back to that message over these last few weeks that we've been referencing around, do we pay off debt or do we focus on putting our money in a position to make more money? It's that liquidity piece. When you're dumping all of your money into your home, how liquid is it at that point? Versus if you do this right, you can put your money in a vehicle where it's also liquid and put you in a position to pay off your home as well. And so what does that look like? Well, if we were to focus on a secure compound interest account at age 65 till age 75, again, 10-year time horizon, putting that $140,000 in one time and $1,000 a month, not bad. We're talking about $309,500 in liquidity, in cash value. This is how much you have access to starting in 10 years at age 75 to be able to use and do whatever you want. This dollar amount is where income would be generated. And on average, I would say that income from a dollar amount like this is somewhere around, let's call it $31K per year. Now we can argue a few more thousand above or below, but I'd say somewhere around 31,000 is about accurate. Around 10% of what your cash value is makes sense. So if we were to take the $140,000 lump sum and the $1,000 a month, put that money to work for the next 10 years. Again, he's living modestly, so these are not dollars that he needs at the moment. So he's very much in a position to be able to do so. God forbid something happens to him. We're buying an initial death benefit of about $1 million, meaning this is a $1 million life insurance based product that he's purchasing. So if he walks outside his front door at age 66, his beneficiaries would receive, his wife would receive $1 million. And as this policy continues to build, as this cash value continues to grow, as he gets closer to age 75, that death benefit then shifts to not just the life insurance, but the life insurance plus the cash value that has been accumulated, which equates to somewhere around 1.5 million. Like, to me, this is a no-brainer. Like, why aren't we doing this? Donnell, why are we even doing this live? Because I think we're done here. But here's the piece. And this is what you have to pay attention to as it relates to life insurance-based products designed to produce income. In order for this age to continue, or in order for this cash value rather, to continue to grow to this point, we have to increase this death benefit over time. What does increasing this death benefit mean? It means that we have to jump this policy. We have to add more cash value to this policy. And in order to do so, there are periods of time where this 65-year-old will have to re-qualify to add more leverage into this policy. What do I mean by add more leverage? I'm saying this 788, so if you do the math on contributing $1,000 a month plus this $140,000 lump sum over a 10-year period, he would have contributed $260,000. That's his money going into this product. Well, at some point, the life insurance company is going to add leverage. The total amount of leverage added to the life insurance policy, the total amount of match added to this life insurance policy, the total amount of leverage added to this life insurance policy is about $783,000. Meaning this dollar amount plus this dollar amount, these two dollar amounts are working together to be able to produce this cash value. In order to accumulate this leverage dollar amount to be able to be added into this policy, the 65-year-old will have to qualify for an increase in his death benefit. Again, he's 65 years of age and healthy. So if he needed to qualify at age 67 or 68, could he? Probably. If he had to qualify at age 68, 70, 71, could he? Maybe. My point is, there's risk here. There's risk here in not knowing whether or not he would be able to qualify. That's the problem. And as a life insurance producer, as a fiduciary, as someone who has your best interest, I could write this policy and move on, but I'm not. Because what we want to make sure is suitability. What we want to make sure is whether or not there's any risk in being able to maintain. So all of my seniors out there who are getting on my calendar to talk through a leveraged IUL for you and your age, My hesitancy is related to the what if. And so the question that I want to answer for you is there an additional option? Is there another option over and above just an IUL?